Alright, let's get into this. So, okay, I've been making beats for a little while now, and I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this, but there's something that I haven't looked at, and considering the amount of beats that I make that have like guitar loops that I've made from scratch, yeah, this is kind of stupid that I didn't even look into this in the first place. So if you guys are as ignorant as I was, then this will be helpful for you guys. So it's basically just to do with why your guitar melodies just don't sound realistic, or they just don't sound like how you want them to sound. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but a few of you guys will probably know what I'm talking about, where you start making, where you start laying down your guitar chords, but they just don't sound like an actual person's playing them. It's going to be difficult to do anyway, but I'm going to show you one very almost too simple of a reason why this is happening. And yeah, I've been kicking myself about it since I figured this out a couple of days ago. For those of you that are just starting out, or like if you just didn't even think to do this, then yeah, this is going to be useful. But yeah, before we get into this, I'm going to be giving away a bunch of free copies of the Anubis hi-hat MIDI kit that I dropped about 2 months ago now. Really bouncy, nice hi-hat MIDI files. About I think I dropped about 15 or 20 in this kit. All I need to do is like the video and comment down below on this video and include your Instagram handle so I can reach out to you, and yeah, I'll drop a few of those copies through for you guys. But yeah, let's just get into this one. All right, let's get into this. So this is really almost too simple, and I think maybe because I just didn't think about it, I just went straight in and was making my own melodies, that I kind of just glossed over this. I didn't even think about it when I started making melodies with guitar VSTs like Ample and any of these contact libraries. I was kind of doing this before I even thought to look into what I'm about to show you, but knowing this now is the reason why I sometimes have days where I just can't lay down a melody that I'm happy with. So this will be useful. Okay, if you just pull up a guitar VST, so I've just got the Ilya Efimov guitar library in right here. So normally, like, if you're starting off a beat, you'll start off with some simple chords and you just build on top of it. So I'll just draw in a simple like C minor. Okay, there's my chord. Sounds okay. It's a really nice bank. It's a really clean and like really well sampled library, so it does sound okay, but it doesn't sound realistic. Okay, and you do the standard things. You put your bass notes in, some top notes in, like up here. But again, it still sounds artificial. You even strum it out. Okay, that's getting there. It sounds a little bit better. But one thing that I never considered was how many strings a guitar had. Okay, like I didn't even think about this. Some of you probably already have done this. I'm gonna admit to it and just say that I literally just went in and was just like, just gonna do my own thing, do what I normally do, play some keys with the MIDI keyboard and just build a melody from there. And sometimes I have really slumpy days, and this is the reason why. So a guitar has 6 strings, okay? Most acoustic guitars anyway, have 6 strings, and each of those strings, if the guitar is tuned properly, plays a specific key. That's how you know if the guitar is tuned. So I pulled up this picture right here just so you guys can see. So the keys that each string plays go from the first string to the last. So if you had the guitar in your hand and you were to strum downwards, then it would go from kind of low to high. So it would start off right here with a low E, then an A, then a D, then a G, then a B, then an E. Okay, that's a tuned acoustic guitar. So knowing this, if you're drawing in your chords and if you're drawing in your top melodies, then you kind of have to go off of this. This is really basic, but you kind of have to go off of this knowledge and just have that in the back of your head. So you could even just put a MIDI together, like a saved preset. What keys did we have? We had E, then A. So we're going to start at the low, and you'll find this with most VSTs that guitar banks don't go below E, like a low E. I think it's this E right here. Yeah, once you go below E, you have these couple like fret noises, but it comes to a low E. So that's going to be our first key. So it's E. What do we have after that? A, then D, then G, then B, then E. Okay, so there's our guitar range right there. So when you're drawing in your chords, you basically just have to follow this key structure in order to do that. Now, you don't have to stick to the E minor scale. You don't have to stick to any certain specific chords, but you just have to remember that there's 6 strings on the guitar. So when you're drawing in a chord on your MIDI, it's going to have around 6 keys in there. So you're going to go ahead and translate that in here by drawing 6 keys in the MIDI, if that makes any sense. So yeah, let's just go in, and for the sake of this tutorial, let's just go in and start with the E minor chord. So let's just change this to E. So the first key is E, which is good. So I'm just going to draw the actual thing right here. Like this is the simple triad for the E. Okay, so we're literally just going to go and find the keys within this range, or find the closest keys within this range. So the first thing we've got is this E right here. We have an E here, which is fine. Okay, next key in the range is an A. So what do we have that's closest to an A in this chord is a B. So I'm going to go to B. Next key in the range is a D. What's the closest key to this D in here? It's an E. So we can move to E. Next we got a G. We have a G in this chord already, which is perfect. And then B we have, which is awesome. And then we have E. Okay, perfect. So we've got 6 keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's our chords. Okay, so that's a good basis. You can already tell from the beginning that's a full sounding chord. That sounds like it's, you know, been properly played on an actual keyboard. But we won't stop there, because if you're playing a guitar, naturally you're going to strum through those strings, which means that you're not going to hit them all at the same time, which is what we've done with this MIDI. You know, naturally you'd have them strummed. With that in mind, now you can just go ahead and start being creative with it. So in the beginning, I'd probably recommend just, you know, starting off in the E minor scale, and then once you learn what keys are where, then you can go ahead and change them, because, you know, guitars you can play with the keys and whatnot. But knowing this, now we can go ahead and strum it, we can arpeggiate them, we can do what we want with them to make our basis like of a melody. So yeah, let me just go ahead and do that real quick, just for this tutorial. Just go like here. Okay, that's a nice little chord right there. And we can just play with the velocities a little bit. So we can just, I don't like to do like a natural rise like that, because that's not how you'd play it. You'd sort of just, you know, it'd sort of be more random. And then we go to a different chord right here. So for this chord, I'm going to go with G. Let's go with the G, see how that sounds. So I'm going to apply that same logic right here. So E, A, D, G, B, E. Okay, so for the second chord, I'm going to follow that same logic. So I've literally just drawn in all those keys again that I've just mentioned from that picture right here. And then I'm just going to go through each key and pick out the ones that fall into this G chord that I've put in right here. So we've got a D. What's closest here to that? We can't go lower, so the closest thing is G. What's closest to this, which is a B? So let's go up here. D's already in, G's already in, B's already in, E can go down to D. Okay, that's cool. So I want like 2 chords in this second section right here. It's like do 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 do, and then start again. Terrible singing. So I'm gonna put another chord in right here. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna draw in those keys, that key range, G, E, and the chord that I wanted to go for was an A minor. So let's just draw that in. Okay, so what we got right here, we've got an E, which is in already. Next key, we've got a C. What's closest to this B is the C in this chord, so we can pull up to C. And then we've got an E right there. So again, just gonna strum those out. Okay, cool. Let's just copy and paste that. See what it sounds like. See what it sounds like all together. And that's a vibe. Seriously, that's a vibe. That's like, that almost sounds like I don't know if you guys know this band, but it almost sounds like some kind of old rock band. There's a band called Nickelback that reminds me of. But yeah, that's a vibe, man. So I could just copy and paste that. And there's my chord progression. There's my vibe. Okay, so one thing I can do, like if you look at all of the velocities right here, they're all still kind of the same. So we can just go in and, you know, take some time and just mess with the velocities a bit. Now that you've got that basis, you can actually just go in and do what I did in my last video, or the video before that, where you can kind of go in and freestyle stuff with a MIDI keyboard, or just click in some kind of top melody. So yeah, actually I may as well do that right now. So what I'm going to do is just clone this contact bank, and I'm going to change the scale temporarily just up to C, so I know what I'm doing, because I can play in the C minor scale, but I'm not very good with any of the scales. So again. Kind of catchy. Cool, and then we could just go add some effects. This isn't like the main part of the tutorial, but I think we're onto something, so I may as well finish it off. Let's put a little bit of the Echo Man on there, go into the effects rack, see what we've got. A little bit of reverb. Bit of EQ, and by the way, all of these effects, I'll drop them down in the description if you want to jump on them. Just soften out that boxy frequency right there. And there we go, we've got a really nice guitar loop. And then just adjust your keys into the right chord progression that you want to have for that particular beat. And just keep in mind that there's 6 strings, so you want to have like, you know, between like 4 to 5 keys in each chord, you know, just so you can have a nice strummed effect. Do you know what, let me just go ahead and throw some quick drums over this one. Open hat, man, this is sounding super hard already. Woo! Slimy. Yes, okay. Maybe I can go up an octave. Oh my god, just that by itself. There we go. That is a 5, man. But yeah, man, going back to the whole point of this video, get that string range put in, man. Put that in and just save it as a MIDI just so you've got it there, just so you can drag and drop it in whenever you want to make a guitar loop. But having that range, not only does it show you what keys work best with what chords in terms of like the octave that you're playing them in, but it just gives you a range to work within, so that when you're playing it with these sample based guitar libraries, like they made these libraries with the mindset of somebody playing it realistically, so you have to kind of, you know, if you don't know how to play guitar, you have to put in the work to figure out like just what chords go well together. But just me, it isn't as hard as like you might think. It's just 6 strings, come up with some nice trap chords like I have done here. And yeah, just think about if someone was playing it, man. Think about if someone was playing this guitar, how would that translate to a MIDI pan if I'm drawing it out on the pan maker. I hope this one was useful for you guys. Again, if you want a free copy of the Anubis MIDI kit, make sure that you leave a like and comment on this video and include your Instagram handle so that I can send that out to you guys. Make sure that you subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.